So you're very welcome. Today's session is all an introduction to the Digital Schools Awards, and it's also an introduction to creating your SELFIE survey if you're a school. And obviously, I'm delighted to have some ETBs and some of the organisations supporting schools, and hopefully you'll find this session just as useful if you're going back to your schools, and we would love them to be joining us on our journey this year, 2023, 2024. This is the year, hopefully, that many of you will be able to undertake SELFIE if you haven't done it before, and also get recognition for all the really good work that you're doing in schools around digital transformation. And we hope that we'll be there to support you on that journey and to celebrate with you at the end of that. We're delighted to have HP and AMD supporting this programme, and it is because of them that we're able to provide this programme free to all schools to participate, and I think that's really very valuable. We're also very happy to have Maureen from Computex on the call, and if there's any questions, you know, in particular around the sort of IT infrastructure piece, very happy to have Maureen join us, and she'd be more than willing to answer those questions, something that I certainly wouldn't be equipped to do myself. So you're all very welcome. I'm going to kick off. We're delighted to have a guest speaker on with us today. You probably are familiar with Roisin Beaver. Roisin has been a great supporter of the Digital Schools Awards for the last few years. Roisin is a teacher, but she has also supported her school in undertaking SELFIE. And Roisin's going to take the second half of today's session, and she's going to take you through step by step how to do the SELFIE survey, how to set it up, and she'll also be available to answer any questions. And as part of our team, if there's any questions throughout the next few months that you have, just drop us an email or drop Roisin an email, and we'd be delighted to assist. Sometimes it's the simple things that we get stuck on, and you just want somebody. We call them critical friends as part of the programme, but you just need a friendly person to be able to give you that assistance. And hopefully Roisin or ourselves will be able to do that for you. So just to kick off, hopefully you can see my slides there. Okay, so today we have about 45 minutes. If it takes less time, great. What I want to take you through are two pieces. So the first stage is all around the Digital Schools Awards journey. And the second stage then will be, I'll hand over to Roisin, and she will take you through the SELFIE tool itself. So as part of the Digital Schools Awards, what we're here to do is to give you assistance in that digital journey. As part of this programme, we also work with mentor schools that have been through the programme, that have been awarded and have also signed up to supporting schools. So we want to tell you a little bit about how that works, a little bit about the critical friend supports, and then just to give you a sort of a little bit of an advanced view in terms of that sort of celebration and accreditation at the end, and what is that validation process. So in a snapshot, in a sort of a single view, this is what you will be doing as part of this Digital Schools journey. And it's just to say that I know schools are at different stages of a journey. Some schools, you know, digital can be quite in its infancy, and for other schools, they're much further ahead. And what this programme will support is all schools along all aspects of that journey. So we're not recognising you because you reach a benchmark. What we're trying to do is give you signposts and a roadmap so that you get some structure around that journey. No matter where you are, this is a celebration of the effort and the work that you're doing. So you can apply for different parts of the award, and I'll show you that, or you can go for all of the different aspects of the award. But the concept here is that we do take an approach which is a whole school approach to digital transformation. So it's really getting to that point where, from a strategy point of view, the leadership team, the teachers, and the digital leaders in your school, hopefully all of those students who are really embracing digital, will be supporting the whole school community around digital transformation. So there are two aspects of Digital Schools Awards, and we've been really very lucky in that over the last number of years, we've got funding through the European Commission Erasmus programme, And we have designed both the Digital Schools Awards program, but also a new academy. So you're some of the first schools who will be benefiting from the academy side of things. So last year we worked quite exclusively with Laois Offaly ETB and the 9 schools in Laois Offaly to pilot an academy program. And the concept here is that through working with schools on this program, some of the things that the teachers have really said is that it would be great to have good practice examples. So schools are doing very similar things, building those digital action plans or, doing audits in terms of infrastructure. And there's a lot of really good work and a lot of really good practice that's there. And that if we could try to capture that and support other schools by sharing that good practice. And that's what we've tried to do in the academy. So we've created this repository, and all of our mentor schools have supported us by providing examples of their good practice. And that now is available in our academy. And once you register with the Digital Schools Awards, we'll be able to give you access into the academy. And there you'll be able to look through using the different SELFIE areas, so it's organized alongside the SELFIE themes. So really making it easy, depending on what area of digital transformation you're looking at, you'll be able to search that up through our academy. But in addition to that, these mentor schools have also offered their support, one-to-one mentoring for schools that are looking for help. So I know for some schools, you've already probably got a plan in place for this year and you know what you're looking at. But what I want to do as part of this program is to just give you in sort of bite-sized chunks what you can expect to do between now and perhaps the end of the academic year. And for some schools, this journey might be shorter, and then for others, this may take longer. So it could be over 2 years or even 3 years. So you take this at your own pace. But what I have tried to do, because sometimes, on these calls, you're sort of given a lot of information and you're sort of saying, okay, what do I want to take away? What are the important bits? And by seeing it, I think in this way, you can really get a sense that this can be done, breaking it down, working with members of the teaching community in your school to say, here's a plan, we can implement this, we will set up meetings to be able to identify where we are on our journey, and here are the different actions that we need to take along those, along the few months. So the first step is all around just register on the awardsforselfie.eu website. And that's just about entering in the school details, who's going to be responsible in the school for overseeing your journey. Once you've registered, the next step is all around taking your SELFIE survey. So that happens on a separate website, that's the EU tool, and Roisin will show you where you can do that. So you're going to take that SELFIE survey, and the survey usually you have to leave open for about 2 weeks, and it would take about 1 week prep. So when Roisin takes you through that, you'll get a very good understanding of what you need to do. And that's the second step. So you're going to actually do that analysis. And once you have got the results back from that survey, the next step is all around creating that digital action plan. So using the SELFIE results, identifying where there are strengths and where there are weaknesses, and putting together a plan to try to address some of those weaknesses and addressing the ones that you want to do for the coming year in particular, and putting together some specific actions around what you will do on that. So that might take you up to potentially sometime between November and December, where you should have that in place. So then the main body of work is all around the work that will be done in the school. So what you are going to do, doing the work, taking those plans and putting those into action, having them carried out, hopefully supported through a team in the school, so that this is a sort of a shared experience, but also that you are spreading it out across the community. So different age groups, different teachers, so that you're really getting a whole school approach. So doing that work there in the school is the main piece of work that you will carry out between November, December and March and April. So once you're sort of, you've got that sort of action going on in the school, you'll start to look at some of the evidence that you will provide for the awards. Now, what we're always saying is that this is really part of what you're already doing in the school. So it's not something in addition. If you want to collate it, and some of the best sort of applications that we've received, they've tried to collate it, say, on a OneNote or on Google, where all of the information is put in a way that can be sort of easily reviewed. And that can serve the school very well as well, because what you're doing is you're creating a repository of all the work that you're doing, and that can then be used for the following year when you want to look at what did we achieve this year and what do we want to do next year. So it's a good way just to capture all of the work that you have been doing in one single place. So you can add, and when you go back onto the Awards for Selfie website, you'll be able to upload that evidence, and it could simply be a single link to a file that you're sharing, or it could be some examples of documents, and we will then be able to review those as part of the validation process. The final piece of the validation is a virtual validation visit. So we work with independent consultants who will be able to set up a one-to-one Zoom or Teams meeting with you, and they will do that visit, at a time that's convenient to yourselves, and it will take approximately 1 hour. And in that visit, it's a conversation, it's a discussion. And what we're looking for really is for you to be able to just give us some insight into what's happening in the school, and that supports the online evidence. And from that visit, then the validator will be able to do up a report. And the whole ethos of the program is around supporting and encouraging. So we are looking for the good things that are happening. We want to bring those good things out in the report. And hopefully that's something that through this program, you can share more broadly amongst the management team, amongst the teachers, and that you can use that as a way to sort of capture in a single document all of the work that has been happening. And that report then will be sent to you. It'll be uploaded onto your profile on the website. And what we try to do then at the end of the year is to host a national awards celebration. So whether it's Scotland or Ireland or Lithuania or Slovenia, there will be a national awards program. All of the awarded schools will be invited to attend, but you can also look at organising your own in-school event as well, and we'd be very happy to support you around that. And what we will do is provide you with some PR toolkits, messaging, but you will also have your digital badges, you'll have your certificate, and we will give you some support if you want to do some of your own PR internally in the school as well. So hopefully that just gives you a sense of there's 5 different steps between now and the end of June. We will be supporting you across all of those different stages. So as I mentioned, step 1 is registering on the Awards for Selfie website. Step 2 then is where you will undertake your selfie survey. Step 3 are the different supports that we'll be able to provide for you. So whether it's mentor supports that you're looking for, whether it's access to the academy. So here on the right-hand side, you'll see some of the different schools that have provided good practice examples on the website, and the different types of, these are the different categories which, as you'll see, follow the selfie criteria. So if you're looking, for example, at collaboration and networking this year, you'll be able to click on that and you'll be able to see the resources that schools have shared. In addition, if you are looking for critical friend support, either in terms of the selfie survey or if there's other aspects of your digital journey that you would like support on, you can get in touch with us, and we hopefully will be able to put you in touch with somebody that can help. So I've mentioned already in terms of sharing evidence, what that might look like. And then the final piece, as I said, which is all around the validation visit. So I hope that gives you a sense of the journey in a nutshell, what you can expect as taking part in the Digital Schools Awards for the year. Some really exciting times ahead. And I just want to reiterate that when you go through this program, the framework is aligned to the national digital strategy. So when you go in and when you're reviewing the self-evaluation for the awards, it will all look very familiar in terms of what's happening in country, in terms of, you know, what the expectations are from a Department of Education point of view, but also you will see that it's very much aligned to the SELFIE tool and the SELFIE criteria and all the different aspects of what schools should be considering when they're looking at their digital strategy and digital development. So I'm just going to close finally just by saying that if you haven't already followed us on Twitter or Facebook, please do so, because as part of this year ahead, what we will do is obviously recognizing all of the schools that register onto the program as their first step, but also all of the activity that you're doing throughout the year. This is a great place for schools to share, to, you know, let everyone know what they're doing, if they've got some really good ideas, or if they're doing something special around digital, to share it as part of this community, and we will share that out as well. So hopefully that's been helpful, just to give you a little bit of a view of the programme for the year. And I'll hand over to Roisin now. She'll take you through the SELFIE tool and what you can expect in terms of the steps. And then at the end, if there's any questions, we'd be happy to take those at the end. Thanks, Roisin.
Thanks very much, Anna. Afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are well on this lovely breezy Wednesday afternoon. I think Anna has given you a lovely flavour of what's involved in becoming a celebrated digital school. What I'd like to talk to you about, however, is purely to do with how to go about organising your school to undertake its SELFIE survey. Speaking as an ICT coordinator myself, I found this tool really, really practical, really helpful, really simple to use. And it also was wonderful insofar as you're all familiar with, no doubt, school self-evaluation. This can be used as one strand of it, your digital strategy. So I particularly found that was very fortunate that you had one of your strands for school self-evaluation completed in doing this. So as Anna said, if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to fire them at me. My email address is Roisin, simply at roisin@digitalschoolsawards.com. So the keys to success when it comes to undertaking SELFIE. First and foremost, as you can see in the big circle there, is having your digital learning team. Having a good team around you is absolutely key. And in my school, I was very fortunate to have staff who were very supportive and interested in helping our school achieve the award, the Digital Schools Award. So just moving on, I'm not going to go through that slide. I'm going to go straight to how do we begin. So the first step, obviously, as Anne has mentioned, you go to awardsforselfie.eu. That's the website where you sign up to essentially you're enrolling your school in the programme to gain an award for all of your school's hard work in becoming a digital school. What I want to talk to you, however, is mainly about this one here, registering your school to use SELFIE. So it's a European Commission website. The website address appears in Anna's presentation. However, I'm sure we'll be sharing these slides anyway afterwards, so you can have a click on the link here, and this live link will bring you to where you need to go. When you click on the link, apologies, I just want to reiterate, you register your school. Where you see here, you have your official school email addresses there, and you have to tick the box, and then obviously you click sign up. So it's pretty straightforward. Then once you've gotten this far, you select your education level. So if you're like me, in a secondary school, you would select upper secondary level, because that would allow you to include both junior and senior sections of your school. So you can see their upper secondary general level is the one that I would advise you to select. Obviously, if you're a primary school, you'd select primary level. But if you're secondary and you want to get a full profile of your school, I would advise selecting upper secondary general level. The next stage is inserting the number of participants. So you have to identify roughly how many teachers, students, and school leaders are going to participate. So let's say, for argument's sake, you might have 20 school leaders between senior management and middle management, the AP1 holders and AP2 holders. And then you have a figure of your teachers, classroom teachers, and then you'd have a figure of students. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. Like, let's say you have 728 students, you could say, well, ballpark 700 students. However, one thing I must point out when it comes to identifying which students are going to participate, apologies, you need to ensure your student body is fully represented, and avoid selecting only your seniors or only your TYs or only your juniors or only your digital leaders, because you really do need a mix. As I said there and highlighted it, a mix is essential to avoid bias in your survey results. Okay, and then when you go to the next, so we've selected our education level, we've identified how many participants we have. The next section that you'll be brought to automatically is customizing the questionnaires. And when you come into the questionnaires, you have your core statements, which are essentially the main areas of the SELFIE tool, namely collaboration and networking, infrastructure and equipment, staff CPD, student digital competence, and so on and so forth. So your core statement are the ones that are going to automatically be populated. However, you also have these optional statements, and then you can click in here and you can decide which optional statements you want to include as part of your survey. Those optional statements may be something to do with, for example, coding clubs or bring your own devices or things like that. Again, it's entirely up to you and your school whether it's applicable or not. And then one of these ones here that I particularly like, your own statements. You can create up to 10 questions for your school, and you can click here and you can come up with your own statement. So perhaps you want to find out whether your students believe that their parents have a good knowledge of what's happening in the school in terms of the use of digital tools. And you could create a statement there for your students to answer. My parents or my guardians are fully aware of how we are using digital tools in our school. And it's an interesting one, because maybe they'll say, well, actually, my mum and dad don't really know. So it might be a nice way of getting some feedback from the student's point of view with regard to parents. And just on that note, although I am a firm believer in the huge value that's part of the SELFIE tool, I must point out that in terms of school self-evaluation, if you're going to use your digital strategy as one of the pillars of your school self-evaluation, it is advisable to survey your parents. And unfortunately, part of the SELFIE survey that I'm showing you here, there is no option to customize it for parents. So what I would say is use, for example, a Microsoft form or a Google form, just to survey the parents and perhaps get their take on things. So within the SELFIE survey, you survey your school leaders, you survey your teaching, your classroom teachers, and you survey your students, which provides you with invaluable information as to how well or otherwise your school is doing when it comes to all things digital. So these are here this is just a screen grab of the optional questions. So maybe you want to ask a question of your leadership, do we have enough time to explore digital learning or digital teaching rather in our school? Again, you tick the box if you decide, oh, actually, I like that as an optional question. So again, they are entirely optional. Maybe you'll think, oh, do you know what, that's overkill. I don't really want to ask any of those optional questions. So in terms of customizing your questions, this is what it looks like. So when you put in your question here, you'd have a statement up here, and then you'd have a little blurb about it here. And then the respondents would select on a scale of 1 to 5 whether they agree or strongly agree, or not applicable. So you're hoping, obviously, that they're not going to select not applicable. Then you select your dates. Your dates are important because you have, just to go back one, sorry, your dates are important because you only get a 3-week window in which to complete your SELFIE survey. So I would identify your 3-week slot with your senior leadership, and then plan to have a specific, perhaps, day wherein the entire school would undertake this survey. And I found, in personally speaking, in my own school, we had an extended registration period that we used to get all of our students to undertake the survey. And then we also happened to have a staff meeting during one of those weeks of the 3-week period. And as part of the staff meeting, all of us, leaders and classroom teachers, undertook the survey ourselves. So it was all done during school hours, and we managed to get a great response rate. So then when your survey has been put together, you can generate your links. So your links are generated automatically once you've selected those 3 weeks that you're going to undertake to deliver your SELFIE survey. As you can see here, it says changes to the setup are no longer possible. So in other words, once you click those 3 weeks and click next, your SELFIE survey is now automated. It's all ready to go.
So I came up here to make sure.
You can't alter your survey from that point onwards. As you can see here, I've put an arrow over the box where you click to copy your link. And then in my case, I sent an email to all school leaders with the link, and they just clicked onto it. Then we shared the link with the teachers at our staff meeting. And then with regard to the students, I don't know, it depends what your school uses. In our school, we had Microsoft Teams. So each of the class tutors were able to share the link with their students within their team. If you're a Google school, quite often you have Google Classrooms, and likewise you'd have the class tutor sharing the link to the survey with their students in the Google Classroom. The most exciting part of the whole thing, from my point of view, was finally the 3 weeks are up, you get your results. And this is really fantastic, because when you log in, you go to the results page, and then you click down here, you'll see view, and you click there, and you access the PDF version, complete with lovely bar charts and pie charts and whatnot of all the different survey results. And you can download the report as well. You can also download it here, as you can see, in additional languages. Oh, sorry, I also meant to say that if you have a number of non-Irish nationals in your school whose first language may not be English, and you want them to use their own language, so perhaps they're a fluent French speaker or German or Romanian or whatever the case may be, they click from the drop-down menu. It's at the top right of the screen, and they can actually answer the survey. You don't need to worry about this. It's automated. They can click in the top right of the screen, answer the survey and they can click their native tongue. Not every single language in the world is there, but the majority of them, and they can answer the survey in their native tongue. But you don't get the results, obviously, in their language. You get it all in English. So you download the report. But then what do you do? You've got this lovely report. What do you do next? So as I've said, you look at it, you can download all these lovely bar charts and screen grabs and whatnot. You can produce a report for your senior management if you wish. And this is something that I did. I gave them a snapshot of the results and showed them essentially where we were really strong and where, according to the survey, we needed to focus. And then we consulted with senior management, and obviously the digital leaders, the digital team were present in that meeting, and we identified 2 main areas that we really wanted to focus in on. And again, just to reiterate, the 2 main areas of focus that we chose were to do with, in order to use this digital strategy as part of our school self-evaluation. Okay, and we found it really, really beneficial. So as you can see here, I've mentioned the planning meeting. You can have a look there at the areas where your school maybe isn't as strong in these particular areas. So in our school, feedback to other students using digital tools was something that we felt, okay, we need to look at this. Then what we did after that, we needed to look at the DLF, the Digital Learning Framework, and we wanted to be able to look where we were, to try and examine these statements, to try and place where our school was at based on the results of the survey. And we were able to identify then, okay, these are the ones we're going to focus in on as part of our digital strategy. And then obviously once we had chosen them, we had to come up with an action plan. So a plan of action to meet the standards chosen. And as I said here, think small steps. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to do small actions, but they're done in such a way that the difference that they will make to our students and in enhancing their teaching and learning experience was really great, really positive one. And again, step 7, when you have spent the time in implementing your digital plan, you obviously have to monitor your progress. I'm sure any of you teachers like me, you're probably sick of seeing this 6-step process, and then you start all over again. However, that being said, we want to just focus on 1 year. So for this year, we're going to use the SELFIE tool and identify where we're going to focus for this 1 year. And we're just going to use this 1 year in order to apply for the Digital Schools Award. So I'm just going to skip ahead here. We have implemented our plan, our digital learning plan. Now what do we need to do to achieve recognition as a digital school? And as Anna has already pointed out, using the lovely timeline slide, this would be kind of February, March of next year when you start uploading all of your evidence. And as Anna mentioned, I strongly advocate that you would use either a shared Google slide for each of the domains. So for collaboration and networking, then you have a separate set of slides for infrastructure and equipment, a separate set of slides for staff CPD, and so on. But they're shared slides. Therefore, it's not up to you as an individual who is the digital leader in the school to populate these shared sets of slides. It's up to your digital learning team. And in fact, some teachers came to me and said, oh, I've got some really nice screenshots and examples of good practice from my classroom. Could I upload them? And I said, absolutely. So I ended up sharing the links to the shared sets of Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint shared slides with the staff, and then anybody could upload. And it was great because it was very useful in terms of collated evidence. And then we all commented on how handy it would be if we were fortunate or unfortunate enough to have one of those incidental inspections and they were to come in and say, all right, we're here to see your digital planning, and we'd be able to say, well, actually, here's one we've prepared earlier, and we had all of our stuff ready. So I'll just finish on this. One last thing to note if your school gets on really, really well with the SELFIE tool and you think, do you know what, my teachers really like that, perhaps you might suggest to senior management later in the year that teachers might use this SELFIE for Teachers tool because it allows teachers as individuals to get a sense of how digitally competent they are as teachers. And I think that's it for me for now. So if anybody has any questions, I'll hand over to Anna as well. So thank you very much, everyone.
That's brilliant, Roisin. And look, if there's any questions, drop them into the chat there. Did you mention, Roisin, around the sort of optional questions? And I know, you know, first time in to the survey, there's a lot going on in there. The tool is very, very flexible. So there's a lot of different ways that you can add your own questions into the tool if that's something that you want to do. If there's a particular area you would like to question your students and your teachers, but otherwise already the tool is a fabulous, you know, it catches everything. It's very, very comprehensive, and I think you will be really, really happy once you've taken the time, once you've sort of gone through the sort of headache of setting it up. I think it's very, very worthwhile. I just wanted to sort of, if there is any, is there any questions there?
Sorry, Evan, thanks for the question. Evan just asked about, is there a certain percentage of participants needed?
Yeah.
So there certainly is. So thanks very much for asking that question. Essentially, if you put in, say you have 700 students, the SELFIE tool works out what the minimum is based on the information that you have given. So I think it's roughly 40%. From memory, if memory serves me correctly, it's roughly 40% of the student body is kind of the minimum. But I could stand corrected on that. But from my recollection, anyway, that was what it was when we were doing it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Super. Thanks, Roisin. So if you haven't actually gone to our website, and I think you know, it's hopefully very straightforward in terms of, this is the website for awards for SELFIE. You know, this is where you register. What you will find once you've registered is that this is the map. So once the school has successfully registered, you'll appear on the map. And when, you know, you're registered, you appear as an orange dot. You know, purple dots are schools that have been awarded. So, for example, Banagher College, that took place last year, they're now profiled on the map. And when you've been through the programme, you will also be visible with the awards on the map. Now, these are the different categories that you will appreciate in the SELFIE tool. So these will all be very familiar. So under each of the different categories that you apply for, once you have been awarded, you'll be able to download these badges, and they're obviously something that you can use on your websites or, you know, as part of sort of your online celebrations. And you will also receive from us the certificate, which, you know, can be used then, a physical certificate, you know, to be sort of hung in the school as a recognition again of the work that you have done for the year. So if anybody is even interested in looking at who are, you know, the mentor schools or who are the registered schools in your area, you can also go in and you can sort of use the map to be able to visually find them and contact them. Just to say that all of the schools that have been through the awards programme are invited to join as a mentor. And when they sign up to be a mentor, they are agreeing to supporting other schools that are coming in through the programme, other schools that are looking for support. So if you see a purple dot, it really means that this school would welcome you to get in touch, welcome you know, to help out if there are things that they can do. And also, if there's particular areas that you're interested in, you can see from their profile which badges they have received, and therefore they're recognised under that particular category. I'll just close then to say that over the course of the year, we are also going to be hosting a number of webinars, bi-weekly webinars, starting from the beginning of November, covering each of the SELFIE areas. And we'll share that schedule with you after the call, so we'll put it up on the website. But from the 8th of November, we'll be starting with our first webinar, which is all around digital action planning. So each of these webinars will be hosted by ourselves, but the presenters will be all awarded mentor schools. And we will be inviting those schools to present on what they have been doing and what they have done in and around each of the different themes. So kicking off at the beginning of November, we have a wonderful trust. They're based in the UK. They support about 8 schools, but they have really, I think, excelled when it comes to the whole area of digital action planning. Each of the schools took the SELFIE survey, and then through the trust, they have actually looked at how do they support each one of those schools around the digital action planning, around creating those plans. And even doing activities such as hackathons, really trying to brainstorm ideas. There's lots of different ways that you can actually work on that planning phase. And we want to give you an opportunity to hear from some of the schools that have done that already. So we'll share this plan with you, and hopefully again that you'll be able to join us for those webinars over the course of the next few months. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Aoife has shared the link to the slides, which are on the website in the resources section, if you want to take them, download them and review them afterwards. So thanks again. Take care.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.